how to become a nail technician. So do you feel like you've been working on your nails, or your mom's nails, or your sister's nails, or your friend's nails for a long while? Probably even without pay. If so, by now you're probably thinking that heck, you're actually pretty darn good at it. And so you are now searching the World Wide Web, wondering what does it take to become a licensed nail technician? Is it hard? In today's video, we'll be covering the first few steps to going pro as a nail tech. Well, hey there, I am Paola of PaolaPonceNails.com, and today we're going to be going through the few steps of the journey, it's a journey, alright, to becoming licensed as a nail tech. So first off, I am a licensed nail tech. I have been both in the state of California and also now in Indiana. I have been licensed as a nail tech since 2013, and it has been quite a journey, like I said earlier. And in fact, licensing and schooling, in my opinion, is the easiest part of this whole process. So relax, you definitely will not be signing up for medical school when you take up a nail technician program. Now, I am using the term nail technician, but you can also say manicure, as I like nail stylist because I feel like I style the nails more than I do like nail art or anything else. And essentially these both manicures and nail technician terms are legally recognized to describe the beautification and grooming process of the nails on both hands and feet here in the States. Now, I am mentioning a nail technician program, but I do want you to know that there are actually two other ways to become licensed, and there is actually, believe it or not, a state that does not require a nail tech license at all. And that state is Connecticut. Although it seems that as of this year, for obvious 2020 reasons, the health department will be getting involved in at least the hygiene management of nail parlors in Connecticut, including nail salons. So, okay, how to become a licensed nail tech? First off, the answer to this question actually strictly depends on your state. Yes, there is not like just one way to get licensed like on a national level. It's a state level thing. Oh yes, like many occupations like lawyers and doctors that require licensing, the guidelines towards that licensing are strictly set forth by the state in which you plan to do business in or reside. In most states, you must be at least 16 years of age and have completed minimally a GED or high school diploma. After meeting these two baseline requirements, traditionally you would join a nail technician program that would generally range from as low as 200 hours to as high as 750 hours. But I find that most states, the average is more like 400 hours, which is roughly about 3 months, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, like a full-time job. Yes, you can attend on a part-time basis, but you would then be pushing your completion of the program, which I think is a rather easy one, to about 5 months. And it can be kind of tedious to being in nail school, something you want to knock out the park right away. Now, I mentioned earlier that there are two other ways other than going traditional and entering a manicuring program, and here they are. One of these ways is to become an apprentice. When you are an apprentice, you essentially are learning from a licensed nail technician who is willing to coach and mentor you under her wing for whatever certain amount of time your state requires for licensing. And they all vary, by the way, they are not the same. So this option sounds super fun, right? I mean, nails are something that you want to do more than you probably ever want to read about. But here are two annoying setbacks to this option. Number one, not all states allow for licensing via an apprenticeship. In fact, roughly less than a third of all states actually do. And number two, when it is permitted, the hours requirement is usually double. So it can take twice as long to become licensed, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting paid, by the way. In fact, I think you're not getting paid as an apprentice. So for example, if your state already requires on the higher amount of hours, say 750, which is a lot, it's like 6 months, I think, then you will actually have to complete about 1,400 hours, which in California, that's pretty much a cosmetology program. And at that point, I would actually take the route of being licensed in cosmetology because it is the umbrella license for just about any beauty service you would ever want to do, ranging from hair to toes and everything in between. But hey, apprenticeship may be totally worth it for you if you are in no rush to be licensed and or you desire to work for a booming influencer type nail tech. Now, the second additional and much less popular way to become licensed is via a hybrid program, one that allows you to take classes both online and via in person. They are definitely rare. Now, I am pretty sure that every state requiring licensing most likely requires in-person testing. So even if you can take your education online or partially online, your testing is still in person. However, especially during this new era we are living in, some and probably most of your program will be online. And whether this learning structure is here to stay permanently is a pretty good question, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised if it does indeed stay. Otherwise, hybrid learning for nail licensing can actually be most probably found via a community college versus a private beauty college. So do check your local community college to see if a nail tech program is available. And by the way, this may be the most affordable route to nail school, and I wish I actually would have done a little bit of research myself and probably gone this route because I kind of like the community college environment, but hey. And even a few high schools offer it to juniors and seniors, which I think is super cool to start getting that experience in high school. Nail tech licensing is probably the most affordable beauty program if you have the cash for it. It can be as low as $3,000 and probably no more than $7,000 in any state. I hope they're not that expensive since I've taken mine. Now, I did say most affordable if you have the cash for it, because otherwise, if you have to finance your education, you will probably be paying some ridiculous interest fee, as most personal or school loans tend to require, right? So if you cannot pay for your schooling up front, then you may have to finance your education, thereby increasing your costs. The last thing you will have to accomplish to become a licensed nail tech is passing your state board exam. And personally, I think it is a relatively easy and in most states probably outdated test. Frankly, the nerves of failing the exam, since it is still a state level exam, is probably the hardest thing to overcome. If nothing much has changed since I took it, you'll just have to study your sanitation, disinfection protocol, and practice applying a nail tip with glue and overlaying with acrylic, which if you have zero interest in acrylic product, you may find difficult. And depending on your state, you may have to bring in a real person as a model also. I didn't, but I think if I would have to bring a real person to my certification, I would have definitely been like more nervous than I was. Who knows, maybe even failed. So let's recap. To become a nail technician, you must usually be at least 16 years of age, complete the equivalent of a high school program, finish an accredited nail course or apprenticeship, unless you live in Connecticut, and finally pass your state board's examination. After this, you are off to the races to either become an employee or an independent stylist. And I do hope to cover this in an upcoming video, whether you should go employee or independent. So let me know below if you are interested in this topic, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and if you are a new nail guru potentially seeking to go pro as a nail tech, let me know what other curiosities you have about being a nail tech in the comment section below. I do have a free training available for you to watch immediately. To find out more on my journey and how I got started as a nail tech, click the link in the description box below to start watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.